One.
Good morning, everyone. So my topic today, as you can see, is American Sign Language. What's up? So the purpose of my speech is going to be about how to communicate using sign language. And I have been learning sign language for approximately 1.5 years now. And I've learned it from a couple of sources such as books, and I've learned it from YouTube mainly. I mean, you can learn anything on YouTube, it's amazing. So I've learned it from this professor. His name is Dr. Bill. He teaches in the California State University, and he's been teaching sign language and deaf studies for approximately 22 years now. So my speech today, it's going to have 3 main points. The first point being a brief history about sign language and how it actually came about to being the language. The second point is going to be how to actually communicate in signs. So, I mean, you guys saw the signs, I'll be teaching those. So you'll actually know how to communicate using sign language. And the last point is going to be how ASL is, how many countries in the world actually use ASL, and how different sign languages exist in different countries. Okay. So, but just by show of hands, how many people have heard of American Sign Language or actually know how to use it? Anyone?
Use it.
No, use it?
Use it.
No?
Yeah.
It's still pretty good, yeah. So, the first point about the history, sign language, actually any sign language, they come from natural languages. And when I say natural languages, what I mean is, I got this from a professor in New York University. His name is Fernandez Key, and he defines a natural language to be a language that any cognitively normal human infant is able to learn through use. Now that just sounds like a big, definition. Simply put, what it means is if a baby is able to pick up a language, it makes it a natural language. If it's intuitive, it is a natural language. Like when you're younger, we are hungry and we say food, right? That's a natural sort of sign that we've come up with. I want food. If you go to Italy and you do this, it can mean a lot of other things, and someone might get offended. But for most people, this is food. So, how sign language, American Sign Language actually came about was in 1817. A person by the name of Thomas Gallaudet, he is known as the founder of American Sign Language, mainly in America. And he came up with the ASD, which is the American School for the Deaf. Now, many historians believe that this school was the place where American Sign Language was first used. So now that we know a little bit of the history of sign language, let's actually move on to how to communicate using sign language. So I've prepared a few common signs, as you can see here. So I'm going to do the signs, and if anyone wants to join me, you can feel free. So whenever you're saying yes in sign language, you just go like this. This is all you do. Whichever hand you're comfortable with, just do this. It's like you're nodding, right? First sign. When you're saying no, you do this. Now, when you're using sign language, you have to be expressive using your body language, because you don't have tone, obviously, because you're not speaking with your voice, but you're using your hands, you're using your body language. So you can either say no, just no. If you want to be polite, you can be like no, no. If you want to be aggressive, you can say no. Okay? Something like that.
Wow.
Another sign is name. Name, just like two fingers. The next sign is please, with your palm. You just do this, please. There's something called baby sign language, where parents, whenever they actually talk to their children, they say please. So as the child grows up, they learn, like whenever they associate the word please while saying it, they associate with the sign. So if they want to ask someone for something, they'll be like, can I have this please? It's really adorable, so you can see the progression of how it's a natural language and how it does. Thank you. It's just this. Thank you. Nice to meet you, which is one of the most commonly used American Sign Languages both. It's like nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Imagine this is the person, this is you, you're meeting. So nice to meet you. This is ASL. It's American Sign Language. Thing is, if you remember in the beginning, I signed American, right? There are alphabets basically, so each alphabet has its own hand sign. So when you want to say ASL, so you can be like I, no, ASL. And the next sign is no, like knowledge. Yeah, I know, right? So you can say I, no, ASL. I should have put that first, but yeah. Hello. Hello. So about sign language, you have to be quite, friendly when you're using it, especially if you're trying to like imply that, you're meeting someone for the first time. You can be like, hello, nice to meet you. So I want to talk a bit about signs related to feelings because I want to show how you use your expressions when you're signing. So the sign for feelings, as you can see, the first one is feel. This is a sign for feel. So you can say, I feel happy. Happy. But you need to show it with your face. If you're like, I feel happy. Say, I feel happy. You can say, sad. I feel sad. Another sign is angry. So with angry, you use your entire body, but you want to show how angry you are, so you go like, angry. I feel angry. There's more signs like, but I'm going to. So now that you've seen a few of the signs, and you can, I guess a few people actually done the signs with, so you can know where you can use these signs. So this is a picture that I got from a professor. He's in AUS. He's a linguistics professor, Dr. Victor Manuel Paragonado. He actually spoke at an event that we had, and he showed us this graph as to where American Sign Language is used and where other languages are used. So as you can see, in pink, you have American Sign Language, like you have those countries using American Sign Language. I forgot to mention, a common misconception is that people think that sign language is common across the entire world. However, that's not the case. Each country, because like I mentioned, it's a natural language, each region comes up with their own language. So like India, over here, it's in yellow, they have their own sign language, Indian Sign Language. Even in the UAE, right here in Sharjah, where we have a deaf school close by, they speak Arabic Sign Language, but it's more Emirati. Like it's Emirati Arabic Sign Language. So you can see in blue over here, which is Australia, it has BANZL. Now that is actually a combination of 3 different types of sign languages. It's British Sign Language with Australian Sign Language and Sign Language from New Zealand. So as you can see, as people migrate, like deaf communities as they migrate, the languages, they get a bit fused. So you can see how BA and ZL actually came about, like 3 different types of people, they came together and a new language was created. In conclusion, I wanted to say that now that completely messed up because the starting was supposed to be something different. In the beginning of my presentation, I was supposed to sign a phrase that goes, I know ASL, and the conclusion was supposed to be that now that you've seen the signs, can someone tell me what this means? Since I already mentioned the meaning.
I know ASL.
Redundant.
Tell us another sign and we can guess it since you just...
How about this?
Nice to meet you.
Really, this is an informative one because everyone knows how to say nice to meet you. So that is what my speech was about.
Thank you. Thank you. Great and questions. It's very useful.
This is very common as well.
Any questions? I mean, I know we have to go because we're over time, but I had one. How much of it is based on cultural signs? Like you're saying it's different in every country, right? Because some symbols are offensive in some places, but so how much of sign language is based on that?
based on culture.
Completely, right?
Like each country, they have their own little, words and stuff that they come into the language.
Yeah.
I'm